Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Welcome to another show on the Sports Music and Live podcast. Today we've got Paul back to me.
Alright everyone, how we doing?
So we're going to follow up on another football one. We will bring some music ones in the future. We'll get into that another time, music. So this is, I'll let Paul take the lead on what we're going to say and what we're going to talk about today.
Because it's currently the international break and we've got the Premier League coming back this Saturday, you start to get a little bit bored and you start to think about all these weird topics to do with football. So I thought we'd do something along these lines, and it's past footballers who wouldn't quite make it today or wouldn't be as valuable today, and also we're going to have a look at current or previous footballers who would be even more valuable in today's market. So
Good subject, good subject. Should we talk a bit about England?
let's talk a bit about it.
So I watched Andorra game,
Yeah,
and quite frankly, I'm pretty sure we didn't have a shot as in a foot shot. I think it was all out wide and crossing the box. I think it was boring, mate. It was terrible.
yeah.
I know we beat Serbia 5-0. I didn't watch that
I didn't
game.
see that, and I heard that even though it was 5-0, it was still really boring. It was
Yeah.
it was the most boring 5-0 you've ever seen. Apparently, I don't want to go in on them too much because I didn't see it, so you can't judge it too
I
much.
don't think it's the players. I just think it is the modern day football is crap.
Yeah, it is.
When I say that, I mean it's not the players that are there. Because we've certainly got one of the best teams in Europe, if not in the world.
I think we've
As
got one of the best
individual players.
attacks. You know, I think the attacking depth is a lot. I don't think we've got a lot in midfield, if I'm being honest. In the 6 and the 8. Particularly the 6, I mean, I don't think we've even got anyone who can sort of play. He's an out-and-out defensive midfielder.
I don't know. I like to look at Anderson.
Yeah,
I
he looks
didn't even
good.
know who he was.
Yeah, he looks good.
And I think he's Forest player, isn't he?
Yeah, he is.
Talking of Forest, Nuno's been sacked too.
He has, yeah, Ange is in.
Ange is in. Well, we'll see what happens there. I don't think the owner's, he's ruthless, isn't he?
I mean, he was on the pitch last season when Nuno was, when he didn't get a couple of bad results, seeing what you're doing and everything. And it weren't good enough for him.
Downfall, even though he's the first manager, I'm going to go out and say, since Brian Clough has got Forest into Europe, give the guy a bit of respect for that, wouldn't you?
Yeah, absolutely, but it weren't good enough for him, was it? The money he's put in and everything, he wanted more. So what can you say?
Going on about old players, so I watched a little clip on John Obi Mikel. And I think it's Rio that was interviewing him.
Right.
And Rio said to him, what was the problem, John? He goes, oh, he calmed it. It just John Obi Mikel. He was calm, soft spoken. He goes, but when he came in one time and he absolutely went in, tore into us. He said, don't think I won't rip up your contracts and give you the money because I've got the money.
Yeah.
And then I think he said it to Nelka, said, well, he give my money if he wants. Good old Nelka. What a player he was. I tell you what, should we start with Nelka actually?
Anelka, honestly, in today's market, he would be. I mean, in fact, I believe he's one of the players that, over time, Lukaku being another, actually, that if you look at his total transfer fees, he's one of the most expensive players in the world. And if you add up all of the money that teams have spent to get him in, if that makes sense. So, yeah, and I think he'd go for even more now because he was a great player.
You can see where Mbappe gets it from him and Henry, can't you?
The other thing is, if like when Osman was being quoted as being like 100 million quid and all the rest of it, you think
What,
how much,
Arsenal?
the guy who was he was rumoured to either come to you or us, Victor Osman from Napoli. He just moved to.
Oh, that's right. I knew the name. Yeah.
Not the other one, but yeah,
He was 300 grand.
I don't even think his touch is that good, but if he was, looking at 70, 80 million quid or 100 million for him, 150 a couple of years ago, actually, they wanted through. Then Anelka, forget about it. What sort of money? If he came through now, he'd be the most expensive.
Everyone didn't think it worked with him and Drogba, and it did.
He did.
Unfortunately, it didn't work out for Torres at Chelsea. I think he was on a downside. I think Liverpool done a good deal of cash in, and then, but he was in the Bromwich signing. I think he come under Ancelotti, and I think Ancelotti didn't want him. Rightly. But Nicholas and Anelka, I think the only team, and I'm not really sure on his Real Madrid record, but I mean, my memory ain't as good anymore, but I do believe it was only Real Madrid that he didn't really do too well at.
Yeah.
Anywhere else he's gone.
He's
Even
also
Bolton had him.
Yeah,
Bolton had
that's it.
cracking player.
Yeah.
JJ Kocher, we talked about him in session.
Yeah, yeah. Do you know, Anelka, it's a popular pub quiz question as well, when they say, name the only player who's played for Arsenal, Liverpool, Chelsea, Man City. Because and it's like,
He's played for
he's
everyone.
playing for everyone.
Should have played for Leeds.
So if you get that one in the pub quiz, it's Anelka.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen.
There we go.
Quickly, I mentioned JJ Kocher. He absolutely rip it up today, even though he did back in the day. Very underrated player, JJ Kocher.
He was, but do you know what? This is I don't know. He would, but he may be in a different position because his position, that number 10, is not really, that kind of free rolling thing. Because I was going to say, so players who I don't know if he necessarily wouldn't make it today, but he definitely wouldn't be on the same level as he was back then. And it pains me saying to my favourite players, Ronaldinho, having a completely free role in this, there's no such thing anymore. Like, he would be so, they try and pigeonhole him into a system. I don't think he would be as effective in today's game as he was back then, because he was a brilliant player, but it's just his style of play. I think loads of these weird hipster managers wouldn't take him, wouldn't tolerate it. They want him to press, they want him to track back, that kind of thing. I just think,
I think if you've got a player that quality, it is common sense to build a team around him.
It is common sense, but a lot of these managers don't see it like that. Mate. Do you know what I mean? It's all about they on a highway, their philosophy, that kind of thing.
It's the owners too. I think he could do like a Cole Palmer job.
Possibly, cutting in off the left.
I love Cole Palmer. I'm a Chelsea fan, obviously. I love him, but I'm sorry, mate. You ain't touching Ronaldinho. And I think the people that grew up in our era of football would strongly argue that he was the best to come out of that. He absolutely annihilates Ronaldo. That's not the original Ronaldo, I might add. I'm on about Cristiano Ronaldo, but he's a good player. But even Messi, I think he took Messi under his wing, didn't he?
He did. He made sure he looked after him and everything. But I think him being sold when he was at his peak at Barcelona, I think that kickstarts the modern era of boring Pep
Guardiola, isn't it?
That is symbolic of the times now. Do you know what I mean? Like, Pep sells him because he can't fit him into his fabled system.
I think it was more with Pep because Barcelona was like, he used to go out partying a lot, and Pep don't like little Jack Grealish, he doesn't like it. When he's meant to be training, he's sleeping in the changing room, and Pep is a successful manager, and the successful ones are ruthless.
Yes,
and that's why Ronaldinho went, and he was never he could have been he could have got a couple of Ballon d'Ors, but obviously the party life took over for him, didn't it? That's shocking. That was my
honestly. I think he probably. I'm not saying that they wouldn't be a professional footballer. I just don't think.
Championship.
I think a lot of managers would struggle to get him in because he just wouldn't be able. They wouldn't be able to fit him into their team, into their systems and in the modern day era sort of thing.
Yeah, he haunted Chelsea quite. I remember watching that Champions League goal, and he just stood there and he's totally. And the power he got. Do you ever remember that? I think it's for the Nike boots, right? Nike 90s maybe, and he done that crossbar thing, just mucking around. I don't even know if it was meant to be in. He was just mucking around doing kick-ups, and he was going ding, bang off the crossbar, ding off the crossbar, ding off the crossbar, and it was over and over again. Go and find it on YouTube, Ronaldinho and crossbar, and I tell you, for the young boys, if you're watching, go watch him. He was an absolute gem.
He was a gem of a player. But just the way he played, that free role, didn't really have a position, that kind of thing. Didn't track back. That's why I'm picking. It's not because I don't think he's a great player, but that's why I'm picking, because I just don't think he'd be pigeonholed into these systems now, because he'd want to do his own thing.
Maybe that's the way Eden Hazard died out.
I
mean, he's a great player. But
again, like if he came through now, there's no way they wouldn't put up with him. He doesn't work. He doesn't work hard enough. So there's another
strong one. Who else you got?
Riquelme, who I was a really, really big fan of back in the day. Yeah, again, another one who played for Barcelona, and Villarreal, and Argentina, obviously. But I think,
I recognise the name.
yeah, I think it's just again that number 10
Mm-hmm.
role just behind the striker. I do think he struggled because again he was another one of that lethargic style.
Yeah.
Again, brilliant technical footballer, but I do think he would struggle to come through in the modern era. I do think though that just in general the number 10 position. I think anyone who kind of played in that role
Yeah.
or didn't have a defined role in the
Mm.
team, I think they would probably struggle in the modern game, unfortunately.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. I was watching something on Instagram, and this guy was talking about Crispo. It didn't work too well for Chelsea for Crispo. He never wanted to come to Chelsea. They made him come. Hence what he called us English people when he got on that bus. You remember that rant? When we had last time we played Argentina, actually, surprisingly, I didn't realise. Yeah, when we played him in the friendly, and it was homophobic, so I bet it was.
Oh, really?
He called us English, you know what?
Oh wow!
Yeah,
I forgot about
and that was the basic. But they reckon his time in the running, he would have far more lot of goals now in the Premier League because of the VAR.
Yeah, definitely.
Because his timing was that great
Mm.
that he didn't get as many goals as he should have got.
A lot of them were ruled out for offside,
Mm.
and they weren't offside basically. So yeah, he would definitely be even more valuable than what he was back then. Another player actually, when you look at his total transfer fees, he's like top
Yeah.
10, most expensive players ever.
Yeah.
If you add them all up,
Yeah.
as
I didn't realise he played for that many clubs. I know he done both the Milan clubs.
I think he was a record breaker at one point, mate. I think he was the high. I think they when he moved from Parma, I think to Inter, I
Yeah.
think that was a record transfer at the
Yeah.
time. I don't know if it was a world record. It's definitely a Serie A record because he went
Yeah.
for about 37 million, which was an insane amount of money back then.
Mm.
This was before Zidane went for 50. So I do think that was a world record fee at the time.
Yeah. Well, how do you think Zidane would do?
Oh, I don't know. Again,
I think he'd adapt.
he would be
He'd
alright.
adapt.
Yeah.
He just glided through football.
Yeah.
He will definitely adapt to today's football.
To today's game, yeah. He's I
Could be
think
more deadly with his pass.
yeah, absolutely. I think anyone who wasn't an attacking right back or left back as well would probably struggle. Like someone because if you look at the Brazilian players like Cafu and Roberto Carlos, they'd be worth a fortune now because obviously brilliant. Yeah, Ashley Cole
He'd
as well.
absolutely thrive.
Yeah, brilliant technical ability and also going forward. But people like someone like Lee Dixon or someone like that, I think would struggle in today's era.
Gary Neville.
Gary
Neville was up
good
and
going
down.
forward. Gary Neville, he really worked on his crossing in the later half of his career.
Yeah. Do you know what, right? I think Roy Keane gives him a lot of shit, but I think he's quite an underrated player.
He is.
No one likes him. But unless you're a Man United fan, it's like Cucurella. No one likes him unless he plays for your team. Because I'll tell you something, if he didn't play for another team, I'd want to kick him in the air.
Absolutely, yeah.
No wonder why he gets his hair pulled all the time.
Exactly.
But yeah, I think Gary Neville is a very underrated player.
Yeah.
He got in the England team Euro '96. That says it all.
Yeah. He's never a world class player, but he was always a good player, really good player, very dependable. 7 out of 10 every week, pretty much. And it's just a really good team player as well. And also for most of his career was England's best right back as well. Didn't have tons of competition, but was still head and shoulders above the
That was
rest.
always a big struggle for us, wasn't it? And now it's left back, isn't it?
Yeah, well, funny enough, actually, we've got loads of right backs.
Yeah,
We've got a
that
massive talent pool of
Right,
right
that
backs.
young Arsenal lad that's.
Lewis Skelly.
Yeah, Lewis Skelly. Yeah, I think he's definitely our number one left back. Let's forget about football clubs. It's England. It goes out the window.
Absolutely.
I'll tell you one little three players. So it wouldn't last in today, and it's not because they couldn't do it.
Yeah, but
But it's because of the pansiness of football today. Vieira, Vinnie Jones, and Roy Keane wouldn't last 5 minutes. And it's not because their abilities of football, well, maybe not so much Finney, but Vieira and Roy Keane are great players, great leaders, solid players, but the way they kick people in the air and round you up, then they'd be sent off.
They have to adapt. They've definitely got the ability. both of them brilliant on the ball as
Yeah,
well, to be fair,
but
really underrated.
it's not their ability, I'd just say, because the modern day
Yeah.
football pansy. I mean, going back to good career, you put Roy Keane, and you know Roy Keane's going to kick him, and he's going to roll around.
Yeah.
And that is the modern day football. I used to always say it was never English players never used to do that.
No.
And then I think it's all that Gerrard started diving for England.
It's
Who
crazy.
is a great player,
To
by
be
the way.
fair as well, Rooney
He
did
ain't
it
better
as
than
well.
Lampard.
Rooney did it a few times as well. They
Yeah,
started,
it gets,
started to do it.
well, you got to think they probably thought in the end, well, you can't beat him in,
exactly.
you know.
Just do
I
it.
always remember Moyes, one of his Everton players died, and he absolutely bollocked him.
Yeah.
For it. I'll never get on the touchline. He went, but the modern day football is you touch them, they're going down.
They are going down, and it's
Pathetic.
yeah, but it's unfortunate it's the way the game is. And
Yeah.
again, as you say, you either start doing it yourself or you don't win because
Well,
they all do it.
And that's why I say Vieira and Roy Keane and Vinnie Jones, them sort of players,
They struggle.
but die a dead breed. Not say a dead breed, and they'll struggle because and Roy would certainly be having a row with everyone on that. I'll tell you something though, one of the greatest leading captains ever, I've got to say, Roy.
Absolutely. And also, I just think that just in general an underrated footballer because he was
Yeah.
a brilliant footballer. He was
Yeah.
a really good midfield player. I mean, again, in an era where, I don't know, there's a lot of specialists in midfield.
Yeah.
Like you're either a 6 or an 8 or this or that, and there's a lot of deficiencies in some of their games. But I mean, he pretty much had everything because he actually started his career as a box-to-box midfielder
Yeah.
as well, and he scored a lot of goals in his early career. And then he sort of started to sit a little bit deeper as he got older. But yeah, just to tick all those boxes. I think any of those kind of old school midfielders would,
Yeah.
they would do really well in
Even
today's
the
game.
defenders like the Tony Adams.
Yeah. But again, would he struggle because he wasn't that great on the ball? Do you know what I mean? Like,
That's what I mean. Even now, the centre back's got to be very good on the ball.
Yeah,
And
you
I
see-
think that was Mourinho that called that in. I remember Mourinho's
I
first
think
trying
it's
to bring it into the Premiership.
yeah, maybe. I think it's a
Yeah,
pet thing.
Carvalho,
Yeah,
although he could be a loose cannon at times.
I think Mourinho started with it because he liked one who could play the ball, like Carvalho, and one kind of old school style defender,
JT.
JT. We had it again with Rio, who was another one who would be even more. He would go for even more money in today's game because he was a good defender and he could play the ball. But we had Vidic, who was more of an old school up and out type defender, and they always worked really well. Whereas now, I guess you're always looking at, well, I need two of them who can play the ball now, and I don't care if they can defend or not.
Yeah.
So,
You got any more?
oh, I have, mate. I've got loads.
So,
So I think someone who'd be even more valuable in today's game than he was back then, and they would shift. He wouldn't be on the right side of midfield anymore, but that would be Beckham. Because
Yeah.
I just think
Love
he would because the only reason he was playing on the right side of midfield, he came through the academy as a centre midfielder, and the only reason they put him on the right is because we had too many in the middle. We had Scholes, we had Butt, we had Keane, we had Ince as well. Actually,
Oh,
at
what
the
a
time,
player
what a player he was.
He wouldn't last either.
He wouldn't. He'd probably be in jail.
Yeah.
But
Him, Roy Keane and Pierre in
Yeah.
the same wing.
exactly, we had
And Vinny running it. Or Roy, I think there'd be a bit of beef in the prison then.
But Beckham in the modern era, for someone who with that level of ability on the ball, he would play in a midfield three, and with his work rate as well, when you need to press like an animal as well in today's game, I just think he'd be worth probably 100 million. If guys like Declan Rice and Caicedo have gone for 100 million, what would Beckham go for now? Like, what a player. The only thing he lacks is a bit of pace.
Yeah.
Apart from that, he's got everything. He's got everything you want from a modern day centre midfielder.
A very underappreciated player until, well, because of the France 98 incident. And I'll tell you, that shows the character
Yeah.
in the guy, the strong ability. And if you haven't watched his documentary on Netflix, go and
It's
watch
very
it.
good. Yeah.
And even Roy says, I don't care what he's done on the pitch because he's done the business on the pitch. And he was driving 6 hours, whatever it was. I don't know Pacific, but he was driving hours to just go and see Victoria.
He was.
And then getting back, and Gary's like, he couldn't believe it. And then he'd go out and he'd do the business. He goes, he done it how he done it. And that just shows the character. And again, that was from his dad. I'm not encouraging it, 'cause I was like it about, but they can't handle it. And they were on him brutal. Even Peter Crouch's dad was brutal towards him. And that gave them the strong mentality. You do that today, mate, and you've got to take him out for a week to McDonald's every day. I try fair and be tough. I'm a strong believer in if your kid ain't playing well, then you got to tell him. There's no point buttering it up. If you're a coach, it's different. You've got to work around it. But I don't agree with telling them that they've had a good game when they've been crap, because they're not going to learn. They need a reality check. And
I don't think it's a bad thing if you said hearing things you did well, even though you didn't have a great game. But do you see what I mean? But I don't know. You got to be honest. You just got to be honest.
He's becoming. I mean, he ain't going to be the next best thing, my son. But you know, he's got better. And I always said to him, it's in there. You let that defeat you. And that's in anything, in sports, life, whatever.
Yeah.
If you let that defeat you in there, you're done. And but you won't get them strong minded now. I mean, they're teaching kids at school, and this I am really against. I cannot stand this, and I hate this, and I think it's disgusting. And it's got American ties. I blame the Americans for this. Right? I blame the Americans for the rest of every nonsense, the pansiness going on in the world. Please, Donald Trump's come in and said nah, because he's old school. But they are telling kids it's okay to lose. And I think it's not about winning and losing. Well, it is about winning. If you go out there and give it all and lose, fair enough. You can't ask for nothing more than that. You gave it everything.
You got to do your best.
Yeah. But don't be coming off that pitch thinking it's the right to lose, or coming out that boxing ring thinking it's the right to lose, or coming from any sport thinking it's the right to lose, because we have got no hope for the Olympics.
I'll tell you
why, because they're going to think going there and think it's going to be a right to lose. It ain't a right to lose. You're out there to win. Stop telling kids it's a right to lose. It ain't a right to lose. It ain't about taking part. Get in there and win, even if you're not good at it. Still give them that mentality to go out and want to win. Well, you're not there just to turn up. That's my
well.
Look
at our manager Sir Alex Ferguson. From it was never.
It would last 5 minutes.
Well, it was never okay to lose. It was never. And I remember, I think it was when we lost the titles to City on by goal difference, and he made he made them watch the celebrations. He made them watch it because he wanted them to feel bad. Because they threw it, because we were like 8 points ahead with I can't remember how many, I think it might be 6 games to go or something like that. They called it back and he said, it's not okay to lose. You know what I mean? He made him watch it. He never wanted to lose. He hated losing. But then he's gone down as probably the greatest manager of all time. So
Yeah, I mean I love Fergie. You can't fault him. Although I do, the only thing I dislike about Fergie is he was very controlling over his players, and that's why Beckham and him fell out of him, because he couldn't control Beckham. Lee Shaw, if you weren't his yes man, and that's the only discredit I give to Alex Ferguson. He was far too controlling their lives, because he didn't like Victoria, he didn't want Beckham to marry. You've got no say in that, mate. But the guy's performing for you. What more do you want? If they're out there performing for you, then that's all you can ask for.
I think the problem he had was he didn't want other players thinking that that was acceptable.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I
think
get
that
it,
was the thing. I think he just
it was all their lives outside what we control. But then Cantona, he's like, no, do what we want. That was a Carson Fergie. He knew how to manage players.
Yeah.
So. Do you reckon Cantona would last? I think again he would just float around in that
again, maybe as
he's another one who would be arrested. He'd be in prison with Roy Keane and being that lot.
These guys as well, though, they worked really well in the front too. So Cantona was great with, I think Hughes was up front with him for a while.
I love Mark Hughes.
Yeah, when he first came in. And obviously more of an out-and-out striker. And then I think Andy Cole and Cantona did quite well together. But and then Solskjaer as well with Cantona was always a good part. So I think he worked. I don't know if because again 4-3-3, where's he going to play? Like, is he going to be the lone striker? Because that's really.
I think you put Cantona on the number 10 role.
Yeah, possibly.
And he thrive there, or you know, just sitting there picking the ball up and playing it. It's in that. I think it's in the film. I can't remember what the film was. The film Cantona done. It's about a Man United fan. He goes a bit off the rails in that. It might even be called Cantona. I can't remember, but he's in the film anyway. The guy's he's in his conscience or whatever it is. He's there, and he talks about. He goes, no, it wasn't the goal. It was that pass to Dennis Irwin and that. He says it's the beauty of the pass. And he was just happy to pass the ball, let alone score a goal, to set up a ball. He was all about the beauty of football, and I think he would. And I tell you something, you know, some of these tackles, they would last 5 minutes now, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
It's pathetic.
Yeah, he had a nasty side of his game as well, actually. He did have that streak in him, actually.
Yeah.
I'm going to go...
Big Duncan Ferguson went last 5 minutes. He would
you know
be on the same wing.
Do you know what I was going to say?
He's football ability.
Any like, so I'm going to say any physical, out-and-out striker in today's game, they would be going for 80 to 100 million. Because when I see people like Gyökeres, Sesko, I mean, we really made a mistake in Hoyland, but we were going for that physical out-and-out striker. Who else went for big money recently? Who's that physical out-and-out striker? But anyway, when I see players like that going for that big money, Haaland as well. Haaland, you know, physical out-and-out striker. I think people like, even someone like Heskey, right?
Yeah.
Who doesn't necessarily a goal scorer, but play him up front by himself in today's game with pace. He's got pace, he's got power, he can hold the ball up. He'd probably be going for 70, 80 million. Honestly, and he's English, you know what I mean? English tax and everything, homegrown role. He would be going for a lot of money.
Imagine him and Owen in today's football.
Yeah.
Because Owen, I can't remember who said it in an interview, and they said, you asked Owen, a player like Heskey, you will be Owen thrived off him. No, and he's another player that, you know, I'm telling you now, if he didn't get the injuries,
yeah, he would be.
Harry Kane would be getting near his goal.
Yeah, he would have broken.
I'll tell you that now. He was. I love. He again a little try, but I love Owen, and who didn't as an English fan? And it was horrible to see how he ended up going with his career.
Yeah. He'd probably be an inverted winger now, though. He'd probably be playing off the left, but still, because obviously the wingers are expected to contribute with the goals now, so he would still get goals. But yeah, he'd probably be like a left winger cutting in sort of thing, and maybe Heskey up front on his own. But yeah, honestly, it's fascinating to think about where these guys, when they played before, would they make it in today's game, and what position would they play in the modern day system?
So I've got 3 players that's going to wrap it up with. If you don't mind, we can come back and do this.
Yes,
Do it next podcast. We'll come back and do it. It's a good one. Great subject. Zola.
Oh yeah, what a player! What a player!
He would destroy anyone in any era, I think.
Yeah. Again, where would he play though? Where would he play in today's game?
Same as where you put Owen, put him out there. All right.
Yeah.
And do you know what? Alex Ferguson respected him that much of a good football player that he had his man marked.
Yeah.
He goes, no, get near him.
Yeah, he's a big player when he's Zola.
We can talk more about Zola. Now, this is my favourite player of all time. 2 of my favourite players of all time. Joe Cole.
Yeah, Joe Cole.
He would absolutely rip it. He'd be worth about 150 million right now.
Yeah.
You look at Lamau and all that, and he was doing that. I remember watching him when I was in primary school, year 6, West Ham FAQ Cup, and he absolutely annihilated everyone. And I said, it'd be a big person in the Premier League. Again, the injuries bowled him, and then he weren't too long after that. Harry Redknapp brought him into West Ham, and the best transfer day of my life was when Joe Cole came to Chelsea.
Yeah. Well, actually,
still do that.
Actually, Fergie used to ring Harry Redknapp every week and ask how he was getting on.
Yeah.
According to Redknapp.
He was
either every week or every month. He'd ring him up and goes, how's that poor Joe doing? Because he wanted him.
Yeah.
He really wanted him.
Yeah.
But, he thought he was brilliant. But obviously, Chelsea just, it was about that time to go. And
I think you got a Chelsea fan.
You got the money as well, because for Abramovich to just come in, I think he was one of the signings that he was a brilliant signing.
And I believe his family weren't even a footballing family either.
Oh, really?
So that's.
I like watching Joe as a pundit as well.
I like
Because
it,
he's quite a down to earth.
Do you know what? In that Fulham game, mate, he was like it's pathetic. There was a sending off for the Fulham striker against Chelsea. It was accidental. He, and this is the game. The modern day football was pathetic, and I can't remember what the referee said it was. It was like it wasn't. It didn't do nothing intentional. He's gone up. He's controlled the ball. His foot's landed on Chuaraba, and the modern day football VAR, that's pathetic. What about Gaza?
Yeah.
Let's wrap it up with Gaza.
What a player. Honestly, again, like he'd still be because he could still play in a 4-3-3, I think now. But with that level of ability, mate, honestly, you're looking at a serious. Again, when you've got Declan Rice and Caicedo going for 100 million, and Zubimendi going for what he went for, Gascoigne would just be he'd wipe the ball that lot. Again, because technical ability and also being press resistant, because you wouldn't be able to get the ball off him. So someone like in the modern era with that value and that technique, he would cook today, honestly. Really.
Yeah, he absolutely fly. What before we go, another player sprung to mind is what about Paul Merson? How do you think he'd get on? He was very underrated. I think again out on the wing now, he'd be out of being this one day.
Because I think he played in. I think he could either play in like a sort of a 10, or it's like the guy off of the main striker in a 4-4-2. You could probably even put him on the wing, but I'm not sure if he was the quickest from memory.
No, I know. But it's his ability, what he could do to the ball. And he had to kick the ball the outside of his foot. I think because of an injury, that's why he was kicked to the outside. Another underrated player. Right, have you got anyone you want to mention before we wrap this up?
I think that was it for all those lot. I think the next topic we'll do is players of today who were considered great, who would make it in our era, sort of.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
proper football era.
Yeah, who would get lost. Or actually players who might not be that appreciated today, who would be, who would have made it in.
Yeah.
You know, I think someone like, we'll get onto it more, but Grealish would have been a lot more thought of in, you know, our.
Not very well, wouldn't they?
So I think that would be a good topic for next time. Is the players from the modern era who would either struggle or they would do better in the olden era.
You know
so
what?
flip it around and reverse it.
I don't even know half the name of modern day players. I have to talk to your boy about it or something because I watch it, but I've really lost interest.
No superstars anymore, mate. They all got to fit into the system. Do you know what I mean?
Even boxing's going to that way. Like, it's just. Too athletic.
Yeah, it's not
you
about
can
the
have
art
the
anymore,
skills,
is it?
but get in there and fight. You're there to fight.
Well, these guys now are athletes, aren't they? Rather than
Well,
athletes first, and footballers second.
Exactly what Michael Owen said. He said, I think we mentioned it in the last one, to be a good football player now, all you have to be
is an athlete.
Is an athlete.
Yeah, absolutely. Pace, power, fitness, rather than actual magic in your boots.
Yeah. Right.
Shame, we'll leave it at that.
Yes, so thank you for listening again on the Sports Music and Live podcast. Please give us the likes and the shares, and ring the bell, thumbs up and all that, and give us some comments. Let us know what you think.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what.
Who are your picks?
Yeah, give us your picks and we can discuss it in the next one. Leave your name so we can mention your name so we don't take the credit for it, because we're not here to steal anyone's credit.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, very important, leave your name and give us some players and I will write them down and we will bring them up. And I'm sure there'll be some like, oh god, yeah, I didn't think of it. So yeah, thank you for listening and look forward to doing another one for you lot soon. Thank you. Bye.